Good evening, everybody. Knock, knock, knock. It is my great pleasure to introduce to you Lisa Talbert, who is running to be the next mayor of the city of Easley.
I'm going to check with Jonathan, make sure I'm on. You can hear me good, good, good. I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. There are some more people that I think are going to come in, but we didn't really want to make it a drop-in in the event that you guys had somewhere else you had to be. And I want to leave some time at the end for you to ask questions or talk to me and see if there's something in particular that you came to find out. But I wanted to do a little bit of information for you and get started. And I have let me just warn you, this is leaning off the wall a little bit. So I'm going to stand in front of it in the event it decides to fall. And so I'm going to be looking here instead of back there. If you see it fall, just say, hey, move. I would appreciate it. So I'm Lisa Talbert, and I'm candidate for mayor of Easley. And a lot of people ask me, well, tell me something about you. Tell me why you. Tell me what's different about you. I have actually lived in Smithfields for 34 years and 7 months, 34 and a half years. Same house. We built and still live in the same house that we moved to Easley to set up a family in. And when I filed for my candidacy, I just want to say I filed from my home address, not a P.O. box. I live there. I own one home in Easley. I'm not beholden to anybody. I don't have a business. I don't have a motive or an agenda, not a politician. I'm just a mom and a wife, and I have children. I should be showing that. I have 2 boys, so I'm a mom of boys, and I have almost 2 grandchildren. This is my Fiona Sky. This is my granddaughter. She's 7 months old. And then I'm so proud of her. And then my 2 sons that are both mostly redheads. One of them was more redhead at one time than he is now. But my husband of 41 years is here. This is Mike. So I think 41 years being married, I mean, that's work. So that's, it's work. And then we're serving members at Mount Pisgah Baptist Church. So we have a large community of friends and family here. I've never held a political office before, so a lot of times people will say, but what do you know about being a mayor? To my knowledge, there's no mayor school. And I don't think the mayor that is the mayor now was a mayor before he was a mayor. I think everybody has the first time being a mayor. I'm just a frustrated citizen that decided to call my representative one day and say, please tell me somebody is running. We knock a lot of doors, and a lady said it best when she said, I feel like I woke up one day and there was twice as much traffic. I feel like I woke up one day and there was twice as many houses and just things happening in Easley that I didn't realize were happening. I don't know why they're happening. Nobody told me why they're happening. So I just decided to get involved. I just stepped up to the plate. So no, I don't have political experience, but I do have experience in other areas. My background is corporate. And I had to throw this picture in. I apologize if you're a Carolina fan, okay? Straight up front, but we are a Clemson family. My husband's an alumni, my son is an alumni, my daughter-in-law's an alumni, and we're Clemson fans. So this is a picture from my corporate life, but I've owned and operated a very successful direct sales business, and I worked in corporate health care for about 2 decades. And this is for a Fortune 500 company. Of course, you can see their name, but I'm not going to say it. That's the largest health insurer of lives in the world. And so my experience with them is in education, administration, and support. I was the face of the company in 16 counties of the upstate for those years. So every hospital, every doctor's office, every health system, everybody that had a contract with this company, if they had a question about their claims or their contract or their credentialing, I was the one that went to the office. I was the one that they talked to. And if we had a policy change, I had to educate on that. I had to teach them how to use our portal and our tools. and then moved on later in that field to train and hire people to do the same thing for one of our affiliate companies. So I have a lot of experience with expense accounts and record keeping and administration is really important. Some of my experience: recruiting, training, people leader, travel planning. I just mentioned expense reporting. My strengths include multitasking. Now, some people don't think that's a strength. Some people, I have been told, that can be looked at as brain damage when you can do that many things at one time because you're rewiring your neuro circuits, but you get a lot done. So I do multitask. Streamlining for efficiencies I just really enjoy that. And then my passion and success has been in building relationships and encouraging people. And I didn't add that, but I also facilitated ladies' Bible studies at my church for 11 years. So it's really important to me to be able to build people and encourage people and teach people how to work together. That's what my background is. So I did reach out. I have a friend that I've worked with for many years, and she is a mayor. And so I reached out to her and I said, okay, tell me, can I do this? And she said, you can so do this, you can do this. And she put me in touch with this MASC, and you'll see the acronym here is the Municipal Association of South Carolina. That organization offers a ton of virtual training and in-person training where I could learn how to be a mayor. And all that entails, if there's anything in addition to planning and expense reports and talking to people and planning meetings and all that stuff, I'll be able to do that. Now, I have to tell you about the picture, though, if you're a Clemson fan, because one of our biggest accounts, I took, one of the events we did was the company booked the IPTE suite. And we were going to do the tour. I had to take the group to the IPTE suite. We had catered lunch, and we got to tour the athletic facility, had my picture made in front of Trevor Lawrence's locker. That was fun. With the number over my head. But anyway, we're standing, and if you've been in the IPTE suite, it's all windows. And so I'm doing a presentation and turned, and this was the scene out the window, and I screamed. So I had to have a picture of that because it was like everybody thought I was having a heart attack and a seizure all at one time. Because I've never seen my name in lights like that. So it was really cool. Some of the concerns I have as a citizen, and probably share with some of you with the current administration I've put up here, in the last 4 years, almost 4 years, just under 4 years, that we have our current mayor, we have annexed over 20 pieces of property. And I want to point out that during that period, that's 2019 to now, we had an extended period of COVID where there wasn't a lot of movement. So now we're out of that. If we don't take care of this 4 years, it's probably going to be double that. Mandating that merchants lower their signs, that was at their expense. They were fined if they didn't. Now, trash cans. We spent over $1 million on trash cans, and I think that's the current platform now is, I got trash cans. That was $1 million to purchase those trash cans. Was it Jeff maybe that said yours is ready to be replaced already? Just about. Spending ARPA money to forgive low-interest loans at the time that the executive director for the ECU was asking for money to make some repairs that were needed in the city to our public works, and the request was denied, so that expense is going to be passed on to us, while this money went for low-interest loans, if we can find those. Excessive turnover with the administrator's position, the police chief, the fire chief, and others. You guys know in the last three and a half years how many administrators and police chiefs and fire chiefs we've had. How about reviewing property for annexation while forbidding those whose property would be affected by it from speaking about their concerns because they live outside the city? What other rights that we don't know about might be squelched? If you're thinking about, if we can't speak, what else could be going on? I'm personally in favor of a moratorium for at least 6 months. I think it could even go longer depending on what the situation is, because I think on new developments we need our team, our administration to work together to review and analyze what's happening, where it's happening, why it's happening, revisit strengthening our current ordinances, and consequences for those violations. Because what I've been told from the other end in speaking with people that work with these national developers is that they do meet with the city and they do go over what is required with certain developments and what is not allowed with certain developments, and they agree to meet those guidelines. And then they go back to their office and they say, well, if we violate that at $100 per lot, that's going to cost us, what, 50 lots times 100, or we're going to make gazillion more dollars if we just go ahead and pay that fine. So we have to have, in my opinion, more consequences, stronger teeth, more reason for them to say, oh, this is going to hurt if we don't do what we promised the city. So number 8, unauthorized mayoral compensation. I know I'm the only candidate campaigning for a demotion. Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute. But I probably am, I know I am. There's currently no ordinance providing the current mayor or any mayor in the future with a car. This is a topic I've heard citizens talk about. I've knocked on doors and they're asking me about the car. So I know I'm not saying something everybody probably hasn't already heard, but we currently pay over $1,000 a month for our mayor to drive a car. I did hear one individual say, well, he's the mayor, he can do what he wants to do. But it's not within our compensation package. It did not go through a vote. It did not go through city council. There's no ordinance for it. So let's get it above board. Let's see if the city wants to pay $12,000 a year for him to drive a car. I mean, that, to me. So number 9, discontinued picking up recycling. Now, if you want, you can rent an additional can if you want your grass clippings picked up. But we've had raised taxes in these 4 years, but we've lost recycling pickup and grass clippings pickup. Now, we take our recycling because I'm just determined I'm going to do my part. So we still recycle and separate it, and then Mike drives it over to put it at the recycling center. But it used to be picked up. Well, we didn't get a tax cut with that. Also, number 10, this audit. Is anybody besides my rep and my husband, and Lisa, you were there, and Donna, you were there, at the city council meeting last night? The 21, or if you've seen my video, the 21-22 audit findings, there was an $80,000 amount that had to be decreased from our cash because of unsubstantiated entries that couldn't be supported. And that was reduced. And then the bank statements had not been reconciled. I think it was 15 months, but we said over a year. And of course, then you guys know we've not had a CPA on staff here since 2021. The feeling is if we had a CPA, perhaps some of this would not have happened the way it has happened. But it has been, this link is on my page. It's a public link. You guys can read this, every single page and every single line of this audit. And it has been said since last night that this is not true, that this $80,000 deficit and this year that the bank statements were not reconciled is not true, it's made up. But if you're interested in seeing it, the link is on my page. I'll get you the link, email me, whatever, I'll give you the link. You can read it for yourself. But I think it's time we take back our city. I've met a lot of people that feel the same way. My platform is located, if you've not seen one of these flyers, it's because somebody has not knocked on your door yet. But we will. Somebody will knock on your door or drive by on a big bicycle and stick one of these on your door. But this is my flyer just with a very simple platform, and there's some over here if you want one. But it's on my Facebook page. How many of you have Facebook? I just want to, okay, so most of us have Facebook. Okay, well, on my Facebook page, there's more detail. There's more detail about the platform. There are videos that I've made about different topics, and there will always be updates. There'll always be, like, you know, I put what I sent to the mayor last night. I'm waiting on an answer about these findings for this audit. But I'm going to talk about just a few tonight. So I want you to know there's several things on my platform, but tonight for time, I just picked a couple to talk about. I want to point out that I'm the first and only candidate to have signed this pledge. Oh, it's not fallen yet. To sign this pledge to change the form of government, among other things. I mean, I do have on here compliance with city ordinances. That should go without saying. Implementing communication methods to allow quick and easy access to events, meetings, and notices. Has anybody tried to navigate our website? It's not as bad as Amazon, but it's close. And then any published, yes?
A lot of people probably don't know about the form of government in Easley. Would you?
I'm going to, yeah,
Oh,
that's
you're
coming.
getting it.
It's coming. It's coming. But I wanted people to know about my pledge. I wanted people to know I'd signed a pledge to that effect. Somebody has asked one of the opponents, and I think the last answer was that he would consider it. I said I'm campaigning for demotion. These are the forms of government, and I'll apologize because we couldn't figure out why this screen resolution is cutting part of this off. But again, this is on my page, and I'll be glad to email it to anybody that needs it. But this covers the different forms of government. Now, we currently have the mayor-council form. A lot of you may have heard that called strong mayor. I think it's what they call it. And this gives you the powers of the mayor, the powers of the council. And right now, what has happened, and people have said, well, it's always been that way, and we never had a problem. When you have that much power allotted to a position, and then you have people that don't choose to avail themselves of it, it's not a problem. You don't have that problem, and if you have a mayor that's doing a good job and doing the part-time job that the mayor's job is, and you have a city administrator doing their job, and you have a CPA doing their job, and a police chief and a fire chief all allowed to do their jobs, you don't notice that there's a problem. But when somebody takes this form of government that we have and uses that as a tool of power to control what's going on in the city, then everybody is unhappy and everybody has a problem. So what we have our council candidate for Ward 3. Do any of you know if you live in Ward 3? Hopefully you know what ward you live in. Ward 3, okay. Donna Rainey is running for council Ward 3. The council ward representative for 2 is here. Probably a lot of you are in 2 because that's the Smithfields area. And then we have 1 and 5 also running. Is anybody in 1 and 5? Okay, 1 and 5. Michael Puckett for Ward 1, and then Ward 5 is Justin Alexander. All of those people agree with changing the form of government. And Denise is a sitting representative, and then Dr. Jones, David Jones, is Ward 4, and he agrees. So
Can you repeat those names again?
yeah, to vote for?
Yes.
What ward are you in?
I'm in
2. Okay, she's in, but she's good. She's okay. Ward 1, you want to vote for Michael Puckett. I'm not telling you who to vote for, but Michael Puckett is who we support and endorse because he's in agreement with this change, among other things. And then Ward 3 is Donna Rainey, and Ward 5 would be Justin Alexander. And then, of course, myself as mayor. We are all in agreement to change this to council manager. And what that does, and I'll put some notes that I did in my video, it reduces the statutory power of the mayor to that of the other elected ward representatives. So basically you've got 7 people voting instead of 6 people just raising their hand and stamping whatever the one person says. But also it means that it decentralizes that power. So all of your elected officials are really speaking more for the people. They have a voice. Right now, if that mayor decides, and he hasn't, probably should be reading instead of talking, but he has shut down committee meetings. So if there are no committee meetings and people can't come and speak, and the sitting council members are intimidated by somebody with all the power, then the people aren't represented. So it's about you and me and all of the citizens of Easley having a voice in what is happening. And we don't. We don't. If he decides to shut it down, it shuts down. If he decides no committee meetings, I sent a question last night. I hope he answers it, I really do. But I asked about this $80,000 and this bank records not being reconciled. And I asked, what have you done? Have you called the committee meeting? There's a finance committee that's supposed to meet, but he shut that down. So the Finance Committee needs to meet. Why did this happen? How did this happen? How are you going to make sure it doesn't happen again, that these bank statements don't get reconciled? This is our money. This is not his money. This is our money. And we work really hard for it, and we need to know where it's going. So one person could stop these committee meetings. What if the committee chair did? What if a member of the Finance Committee, what if Denise was former head of the former Finance Committee, and she said, look, I looked at this audit and I'm concerned, I want to call a meeting, and he says no. So I think that the power change was what, I've had a lot of support, I've had a lot of people say that that's a good idea. Also the board seats, he appoints. Well, you're supposed to be able to apply for that. If you decide that you're interested in a particular part of how our city works, you want to speak, you want to have a voice on a board, maybe stormwater issues, whatever your concerns are. Somebody spoke last night about litter, whatever, the beautification projects downtown. If you're a business owner, you should be able to call up and say, I want to find out how to serve on a committee. I want to find out how to apply to be on a committee. Well, right now you can't do that. So we want to change to redistribute the redistribution. We want a redistribution of power. That's what I'm trying to say. And the administrator, now we do have a new administrator that's been here. He started on September the 11th. And so he's new, Mr. Couch, Tom Couch. And he started, so it's been what, not quite a month. It hasn't even been a month. He's an administrator. Right now the mayor's the CEO, and then the mayor has an assistant. I guess is Tommy still an assistant? So we got 2.5 leaders that are administrators that have all this power. We don't need that many people making all the decisions. So the administrator would report to the council and the mayor together. That's the way it would work. So this is something you can get off of my page, or if you need me to email it to you, I can do that. If you don't have Facebook, some people don't have Facebook, we can do that. Okay, now one of my other topics, in addition to changing the government, is responsible annexation and planned growth. Now, the current incumbent promised public work updates. I think in the last month they're starting some. It's election season. Also, live streaming of city council meetings. He stopped that last January, so it was like over a year and a half, that you guys couldn't be at home watching it. You couldn't go back and watch it. He stopped it. And in September, was it September? This past month, he started it back. Again, it is election season. But there's been too many annexations too fast, and no regard whatsoever for infrastructure to support that growth. Now, this is a picture of the comprehensive plan that the council voted in 2022. It's not being followed. It is full of good ideas. We have congested traffic. Has anybody not noticed that we have, okay, y'all are laughing, so I'm like, it's not just me. Lights, roads, schools, there's just no order. People are just, they're being packed in and no thought to, okay, really do we have space in this school, and how are we gonna get out? And if you're not following the comprehensive plan and the ordinances referenced in it, then you're having, I don't know if any of you live in one of these subdivisions with one entrance. And we were talking, Jeff was talking about the fact that they're going to shut his entrance down for some public works updates. That means no in, no out. Well, so you're inconvenienced for that period of time, but what if you need an ambulance? What if your house catches on fire? There's a reason that we have ordinances, so why aren't we following the ordinances? But we do have a comprehensive plan, and we need to follow that. According to the zoning ordinances, and the purpose of these is to establish standards and procedures to regulate and control the use of our land and buildings, but we're not following them. Zoning districts, the general development of real estate in Easley. So we have a lot of things. We do need to revisit them, and we do need to make sure that they are appropriate for our size now, but it's also the purpose to guide and direct growth and development. So we do need to just make sure that we're following them for our budgetary, utilities, resource allocation. We want to enable the city to predict future land uses so that we know how we're going to support that. Let's see. Stormwater. Now this is cut off a little bit, but water damage is a nightmare. We've had it twice in our home. not, thankfully, as a result of stormwater issues, but we've been completely wiped out by a leaky refrigerator. Water is horrible, but we have a lot of stormwater issues in our neighborhoods, and we have a lot of people. We were knocking on a door last week in a subdivision that the poor gentleman has $23,000 worth of water damage to the back of his yard, because when he bought that house, it looked one way. And then the city came in and moved a power pole, and then annexed another place to put another subdivision, changed the layout, and all the water comes to his backyard. And we were there last week looking at it. So we have some pictures. These are Middle Creek. Some of these pictures are Middle Creek. Some of you might live, this might be somebody's house. Did somebody say that was their house? Oh, yeah. What happens is, from what I'm told, and when I'm out talking to people, is that the city is allowing developers to come in and do the subdivision this way. Then the builder comes in and they have their part in it, and then they turn over any concerns to the HOA and leave a little pot of money with the city in case anything happens, and that's the end of it. But ordinances and all of our comprehensive plan needs to be followed. Now, I think we need rain. I know I sound like my grandma when I say that, but right now we're pretty dry. But if we start, you guys have seen some of the developments, and they're nice enough developments, but the way they're being built, Indigo Park is down the street from us, and it's kind of like down in a hole. And I'm thinking the first really bad monsoon we have, oh man, that's going to be a swimming pool down there, and those people are going to be rightly furious. So these are some of the things that we're seeing around our city. Now, per our comprehensive plan, our city's designated as an MS4. That's a short name for Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System. And of course, we can enforce DHEC regulations and establish any local ordinances, which we have, that will assist in good stormwater management. An example I listed is the recent ordinance passed in 21 that requires review for all primary and secondary accessory structures that's meant to prevent obstruction of any easements for moving water conveyance or utilities, and prevent off-site runoff and minimize flooding impacts from these structures. So we have a good rating right now, but there has been so many, it's like over 2,200 new homes added in just the past 4 years. It's dwellings, I guess dwellings is the correct term to use because it might not be a single family structure, but we have had a lot of people moving in. The other topics I wanted to touch on is the true transparency. We don't have that now. So as an example, the current mayor I just mentioned canceled videoing of work sessions, council meetings, and just resumed them. The financial statements were only posted recently when you can find them, and they're full of miscellaneous expenses with no descriptions. The bank statements we already talked about went unreconciled for 15 months. What I would like to do is establish a quarterly or yearly report. I had a very nice local business owner give me an example of a town that he has extended family that lives there, and he gave me the booklet to look at, and I just fell in love with it because I love details and I love things that are efficient. And it's published. This one was a yearly report, so it was like a booklet, and the town was about our size, and it listed the expenses by department to the penny. So if some of you belong to churches, you know what I'm talking about. When you get the budget and you see where the money's going and you vote on it, you can see where the money's going. I would love to do that, ideally. Also, the website needs to be improved. So I'm looking to hopefully have people that know more than I do about websites and website improvement get in there and fix that. It's very hard to navigate. If you've tried to navigate, and it doesn't have everything that you need, it's really hard to get through. Also, freedom of speech. Citizen concerns have been ignored. It doesn't matter. Friends and neighbors are silenced. They're not allowed to speak. If you live beside, maybe your property goes right up against 100 acres that they're going to try to annex. You have concerns. You want to know what it's for. What are they going to use that land for? How's the water going? What are you going to put on it that's going to affect my land? How am I going to get out of my driveway? Will it affect where my children are going to school? You want to know. You are not allowed to speak at the city council regarding that. If you own a business in the city, but you live 2 miles outside the city, you pay taxes, you still can't speak because you're not considered a resident. And I think that's wrong. I think they're loosely interpreting a 1977 ordinance out of the city that they just dug up because they don't want questions. Just going to say that. And it really is, when I say loosely, I mean loose. When I heard it, I was like, that's not what that says. But that's what they're using. So I think that people need to be able to speak. He silenced the committees, silenced the council representatives. The mayor is currently having, and I was at the work session last night, some of you were there. The mayor's currently having our city attorney draft a proposal to allow public comments from anybody in attendance at the council meetings, but only on topics listed on the agenda. Now, I think, from what I heard yesterday, and correct me if I'm wrong, it still has to be on topics on the agenda, but it could be people that have business licenses? Or am I?
We're still working on that, but I did not hear anything about it being solely on agenda items. So that may be under maybe in file 13, and that may not be. They're wanting to mirror it with the county policy.
Okay. Well, if that doesn't happen and it is only on topics of the agenda, because we have the strong mayor form of government, if he decides that it's not going to be on the agenda and you can't talk about it, you have a backyard that's floating away, you want to come, you've made your time, got off work to come to city council to speak in front of your representatives to say, my yard's floating away, I need some help. If it's not on the agenda, you don't get to speak. So I think free speech is a really big concern. So I've hit some highlights. Again, my full platform and videos and everything is on my Facebook page. But I want to ask for your support, your vote in November to help get Easley back on track. Now, I'm going to add some stuff to this because we need for you to obviously, if you can download a flyer, you can maybe put it on your board at work. If you work in Easley and you've got one of those break rooms that you can stick that up on the board, I've got a flyer. We need people to help knock on doors. But citizens have been attending meetings, being ignored. I will promise you this, and I know I have a pledge, and I've already talked about it, but I will direct the administrator to engage and hire skilled professionals. We will not go without a CPA. To map out transportation plans, go to our state representatives, to go to our representatives to bring back the money. Now, part of it is the money. We have to have money allotted for our county and for our city to be able to support our infrastructure, but that's what our city officials and elected officials and hired professionals are supposed to be helping us to do. So I will do that. There will be a stormwater inventory and resources repair. There will be that. We're going to do that. There will be a review and renovations of our zoning ordinances. I mentioned that. Land development regulations need to be enforced so that we don't have communities asking, why don't we have 2 entrances? Why don't we have sidewalks? All of that needs to be reviewed. I know we have because I've looked at a lot of, I love this comp plan book. I just love it because it's so organized and it's so pretty and it's got pictures and it's got bullet points. But we're not using it. So we need to review that, make sure that it supports our new growth and our new population. And at this point, though, it's going to be completely up to you. I've stepped up. We are knocking on doors. We are putting out signs. We've got a new billboard, if y'all hadn't seen it, on 93. We are doing everything we can to let people know they have an option. So it's completely up to you whether we're going to change course or whether we're going to have 4 more years of what you're seeing and what you're driving through, what you have running through your backyard, what you're not able to do, what you're not able to say. It's totally up to you. So what can you do? You can donate money, flyers, signs, billboards, all of it costs money. It's not too late to donate, and no amount is too small. Follow my Facebook page. I mentioned that. There are flyers there. You can email, it's cheap to email flyers. You don't even have to mail them. So if you have a little, I don't know, maybe you're in the garden club or you're in a local ladies Bible study and it's Easley, it's got to be people that vote. Email them the flyer and tell them that, you came out and why you think that we need a change. So you can help with that. We need people to help knock on doors. We need people to put signs in your yard. Now, we have, I think my husband brought in 20 signs, and I know if Tina's here, Tina's got dibs on about 7 of them. But if you need a sign for your yard, or you're willing to put one in front of your business, we have them here tonight. You can take them with you. If you will share on your social media, tell your neighbors, tell your family, tell your co-workers. We do need people to know. There are not enough people that vote in Easley. So you guys have to help us encourage people to get to the polls. Coupled with the fact, this is not the big election year, if y'all know what I mean. Next year, everybody's going to be going out to vote. But this year, it's going to be like, why do I need to vote? I'm fine, I'm happy. No, they need to know what's at stake for the next 4 years if we don't get the vote out. So, yes.
I just wanted to add, you can also vote early.
Yes.
It's
October
23rd. And I do have information on my page about how you can get a ballot mailed to you if you need that to happen. So anyway, if you need help, if you have a question about how to vote, unfortunately it's too late, I think, to register by 2 days. It's too late if you're not registered to register. You had to have moved it or be registered by the 8th. But if you guys want to, I'm going to hang around and ask questions, or if anybody has a question now, or anything that you've thought of while I was speaking. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming out again. You're welcome to disperse or get water or signs, or if you want to hang around. We've got one candidate here, 2 representatives here if you have questions. So thank you for coming.